All right, we are. All right, we should be live. So, hopefully, somebody's out there watching. Welcome, Captain Charlemagne Models. Hopefully, everything is working here properly. Hopefully, you can see me. Hopefully, you can hear me, and all is good. So, give me a thumbs up or a comment in the chat if everything looks like it is working properly tonight. Every time it gets set up, there's always possibilities for issues, so we want to make sure everything is working okay. Everything is green, sir. All right, thank you very much. All right, so we'll get started here. Here we go. Working on more of the Enterprise E tonight, looking at getting closer to closing up the saucer so that we can get even closer to my favorite part, the painting. So let's switch over to the... Well, let's grab the kit. One of them. Here we go. And let's switch over to the overhead shot. There we go. All right, I have a bunch of tidying of the wires on this one done. Earlier tonight, I put down some more epoxy, so I'm going to lift these tape marks and see where I need to put some more down, and then I need to deal with all of this garbage on the back end, keeping in mind that I need to keep space clear for the impulse engines. So, hobby time is here. Welcome to the stream. I need to grab some tweezers. All right. Just threw them on the Enterprise. And I'm going to start by taking up these little bits of tape that I put down just to hold the wires temporarily while I got epoxy down onto these. So, I still need to deal. Don't know if you can see, but there are very fine wires coming up from here. Those are for the quantum torpedo launcher. They're coming up through the saucer because they were an afterthought, or it was an afterthought. I hadn't thought to put them in. Danny, my programmer, convinced me to put them in, and I had already put the deflector housing in place, so I had to run these wires up through the saucer section, which made things kind of interesting when it came time to putting it all together. That's why, and that's the only reason why, the bottom saucer is attached to the secondary hull before the saucer section is closed up. Otherwise, I forgot to epoxy that, so that needs to stay in place. I did epoxy this one over here. Okay. So that's why the lower saucer section has been already installed onto the secondary hull. All right, let's lift this up. So what do I need to leave in place? I need to leave... I think I secured this one down here. Yeah, that's going to need a little bit more epoxy. This is going to need some work in here. I'm going to get the rest of it cleaned up. So now I'm going to put more tape down and hopefully get all this cleaned up, secured down in place so that I can get all of this finished off. Okay, let's see. I want to start with here. Oh, and I should be able to see the chat a lot easier tonight. I've got a new setup for that. So feel free to test that out and see just how quickly I notice what you're saying. Should be a little bit faster. I'm avoiding. I can see all of the comments when the comments are made now. I don't have some strange icons in the way. All right, let's get that secured in place. Okay, and we'll get this secured down here. The blue painter's tape sort of works okay for this. It doesn't hold it in place for very long, so I really need to make sure that I get these secured down. All right. I'm going to get these Yvang. I apologize right now if I say any of the names wrong. Have you ever tried to use hot glue for your wiring? It's not as permanent as glue, which could be good if you need to make changes. Yeah, it makes a huge mess, and I do use hot melt glue when I need it to be secured temporarily in place very quickly. So I did a lot of that in the nacelles, for the wiring in the nacelles, because it's really tricky working in here, especially when they split when the nacelles are split side to side, when it's two parts side to side, as these ones are. It makes it really tricky to work on the wiring. I like the Enterprise D nacelles better on pretty much any kit because it creates a nice trough to do the wiring in. Talking about the Enterprise D, I just got the second 650 scale kit delivered yesterday. So I have 2 of those in the shop now. So I will probably try to do as much of the work as I can make space for side by side. So I will do as much of the work on the 2 projects side by side as I can, because it's going to be so much more time efficient to do it that way. And then there's going to have to come a time probably where I leave one aside and just work on the first one on its own, because I doubt I will have enough space to do the final construct. Oh, I think I just broke something. Maybe. I put my foot on something that I guess didn't really, wasn't really designed to take the weight. I have the 1537 Enterprise. Do you know if anybody makes Aztec decals for that kit? Which one? Are you talking about the refit? If you are, there are a ton of people that make Aztec decals for that kit. Really, you just need to Google it. I'm sure that GCals makes them, or my brain's just not working right now. But if it's the refit, there's loads of decals out there. All right, I wanted to get a little bit closer to this without getting it out of frame of the camera. So here we go. All right, now let's start working on the mess of wires here. I need to figure out what a couple of these circuits are, as I thought I'd labeled them all, but there seems to be a couple here that did not get labeled. So let's see, there are 2 circuits here, these red ones, that are going to the same spot. There's only 2 of them. One of them is the constant on navs, and the other are the flasher navs. And I'll be able to tell you which one's which by looking at this. So this is the nav on, so constant on, and so this is the flasher. So I'm going to start by labeling this, because I don't want to get too far along in the process without being able to identify what that is. So I need my tape, which is over on another desk off camera here. There we go. Scissors. And I need a functioning Sharpie. This should be a functioning Sharpie here. Let's see. Yeah, the Motion Picture Enterprise. Yeah, there. So for that kit, let's see. Yeah, I've got it on the shelf over there. It's such a common kit. There are so many decal sets out there. Probably one of the first places you might want to check is Federation Models. They're a secondary seller of a lot of people's stuff. So like they are a retail opportunity for people who make that stuff. And so they have a number of manufacturers on their website. So probably check there, see if they have anything. Do avoid Red Phoenix for any decals. They have very poor quality and they are known to use other people's artwork. So whatever you do, avoid that. Have you ever done Enterprise A polar lights? So talking about the 1000 scale or the 350? Because both of those are out there. I guess either one you're talking about, no, I haven't done them. I have yet to do a 350 refit or a 350 toss. I have one 350 toss on my shelf and two 350 refits along with two 350 NX01s sitting on my shelf, and I haven't gotten to any of them, and I probably won't unless I get a commission build for them. But also, I build on my channel, and so many people have done them that it's not new content. It's not interesting new content. So my go-to would be projects that not everybody else has done. Now, lots of people have done the Enterprise E, but until I did the last one, not very many people were painting the detail on it. So that's kind of where the interesting aspect of it came. So this is, what did I say? This is nav strobe, and no, this Sharpie does not work on the fine point. So I'll try another one. Let's see, where did it go? Problem with these wires, they're very springy. So the moment you let go, they fly off. Let's see, nav. Okay, this one works. Nav, flash, plus. And then I've got nav on negative. This is probably nav, flash, negative, I would imagine. So I need to get that one labeled. I'm going to double check that it actually is the one I want. You are saying Yavang correctly. I took it from the IKS Yavang, the ship Worf's son served on in DS9. Have you heard about AMT re-releasing the 1400 Clear Enterprise D this month, I think? Yeah. They are releasing it in the milky white translucent plastic, the same as what they did the Voyager kit in, which is good for doing a light-emitting plastic because it's a little bit softer than what the water clear plastic is that they use on the last one. So if you do want to drill stuff out, it's not as brittle. So it'll be a much nicer plastic to work with. I just wish that they would have updated the tooling, because the tooling is not overly accurate on it. All right, I'm just tracing back. Had to take my glasses off for this one. Apologize if you're seeing the top of my head. Okay, so let's see. Where is this one going? That one's going here. It still has to be secured down, so this one is indeed the other nav. I like to double check everything before I commit to it. Let's see. My dashboard tells me we've got 5 people watching. That's great. Yvang says, so it's basically the same kit. Have you worked with it before, and would you recommend it? It is exactly the same kit. It's the same kit as they've been doing for, well, almost 40 years? Like what, 35 years or something like that? This is the saucer for it. This is one of the original releases. Actually, it is. I think it is the original release. And this was done in this kind of duck egg blue styrene. And I'm currently working on this for a client. I'm in Window World. I do have, let me just grab it off of this shelf here. Okay. I also have newer release of this in the water clear. Let me grab that. It's going to be really hard to see all of the detail. If I turn it this way and I put this one, these are exactly the same kit, just done in different types of plastic. And again, the one that round 2 is repopping. It is literally a repop. It's the same toolings, the same molds. It's just being done in that milky white plastic. And there are a number of inaccuracies on the kit, as there are on most of the Star Trek commercial kits that are out there. They are getting better. Any new toolings are generally much better now. There are a lot of shape problems, and sizing problems. The neck is not great as far as accuracy. The main impulse engine, there is a major window missing on the bottom saucer, just in front of the captain's yacht. A bunch of other things, but there are some really good aftermarket parts. Let me see here, and nope, that's not it. Oh, I think I found it here. Yes. So let me move this to the side, and let's see. Captain Shalamang, I got both the Horner Titan A and the Stargazer. Both are looking like nice kits. Yeah, from what I've seen, those look really, really good. I would love to build them, both of them. I mean, I like the Titan as the Titan more than I do as an Enterprise, but it is what it is. So I have Motion Picture Miniatures aftermarket parts for the Enterprise D. I might need to adjust, so bear with me for one moment. Actually, let me save you the trauma of watching me adjust that camera here. And I'm just going to make some minor adjustments so that it looks a little bit better. I'm not losing stuff in the frame. I think that's a little bit better. It's not quite as top down. I think that might look a little bit better. All right, so yeah, I've got the Motion Picture Miniatures. So I don't mind doing a little bit of advertising for Wayne over at Motion Picture Miniatures. This is the aftermarket kit for the Enterprise D that he has. He also has phaser strips, which I am going to be availing myself of. This is a neck piece, and it has a, let me move this down here, or I guess I could just take it right out of the packaging. So this is the Motion Picture Miniatures neck, and there is the piece inside, separate for the impulse deck, much more accurate than the kit parts. We've got solid chiller grill parts, so you don't get that nasty break in the middle, and with it having solid interior here, it really diffuses the light nicely. There is a replacement shuttle bay. There's the parts for the end of the nacelles. There's replacement Bussard collectors. They're solid resin. They will glow really nicely. A replacement bridge. The window that's missing on the bottom. Just some really nice parts. Let's see. Would you ever attempt the 6-foot Helios build? How many have been done? They are not selling the 6-foot. They're only selling the 3-foot, the 650 scale. It would be commercially unviable for them to produce it at that size, given the cost that it would be in order for them to do it. So they did it for themselves, but as far as I know, they are not doing it for anybody to purchase. I would do it. I would take on the challenge, but they're not making it available for people. Let's see. Very nice. How much are the motion picture miniature parts? You know what? I do not remember how much they are. I would have to look that up. But if you messaged Motion Picture Miniatures through Facebook, I'm sure that Wayne would be happy to let you know what the current going price on that. And then he'd be able to let you know what the shipping is on it too. So those are all going to be going into the 1400 scale Enterprise D build, which is going to be happening. Interestingly enough, it's going to be happening the same time that I'm working on the 650 scale Enterprise Ds. So there'll be a little bit of this and a little bit of that going on. So the only parts that won't be going on, I think, are the little extra bits that would go on the back of the nacelles to make it the Generations build. Excuse me, because my client wants it to be to look as much like the Next Generation TV show as possible, what you would see on screen. All right, let's get back to this. Got to love kit add-ons. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that just help make the kits look so much better. Just the shipping on the 3-foot from Germany to US is $350. Yeah, it's not cheap to get the 650 scale out here. I handled the purchase of it for the first client because we were already in production on the 1000 scale, and they did the upgrade. And then the second client, I had them deal directly, and so I didn't have to worry about any of that. It just showed up one day, yesterday, on my doorstep. I was not expecting it to arrive yesterday, that is for sure. There are some interesting little upgrades to the kit on the 350 on the second round. They made some adjustments, things that were just overlooked on the first go around. So the missing aperture on the phaser array on the top saucer is present, and the windows, the window frames on the bottom saucer don't have the gaps in them. And what was the other thing that I noticed? Deflector dish on the second kit was pristine, so no warp issues on that. So yeah, so some good quality upgrades on the second round. I don't know if they're going to be doing a third round or not, but if you're interested, you would need to check with them. All right. I forgot which one this is. I got talking. So this one is nav on, so this will be nav flash negative. So I'm going to feed it through wherever it needs to go underneath all of those. So I'm going to back it out here. Captain Shellman will admit if they did one, I would not hesitate to buy a 350 Excelsior or Enterprise B if they did. Sorry, I just need to adjust my screen here. If they did one and I had the money available at the time, yeah. 350 for Excelsior Enterprise B. That would be a really nice size ship. Although 650 would also be a really nice size for those ships. So I'd be happy if they did 650 on those ones. Yeah, oh, hi Blair. You're glad your kit is better. Yeah, I mean, both kits are really nice, but they just took care of a couple of those issues that appeared on the first run kit. And I will also note there was no damage on the second kit as it arrived. So on the first kit, part of the one of the warp nacelles fractured on it and broke off. So they'll be sending me a replacement part for that for the first kit. But every part I've looked at on the second kit arrived in pristine condition, and as I said, the deflector dish was nice and cleanly cast as well. It was not warped or anything like the first one was. But they will also be sending me a replacement deflector dish for the first one. Let's see. This is nav, flash, negative. All right. Let's see. Captain Shellamang, for your Enterprise E kits, do you have any fit issues? Yes, there are fit issues. The main fit issues on the Enterprise D, if you go with the kit part for the deflector housing, that does not fit very well. Actually, the aftermarket kit, the aftermarket part is a little bit narrow too, so I have to work on that to get it to fit properly. The other area that is really a problem is the pylons attaching to the secondary hull. So you really need to do work on those, one, to get them in as snug as possible, and then you really need to spend time, serious time, puttying and sanding that once it's all assembled, because that should look smooth as butter attaching to the secondary hull. There should be no gaps, and so often I see the gaps just being left on those. And you know, if you took maybe 8 hours dedicated to working on those, you would just end up with such a better look where those pylons meet up. Now, if you were to go back into the video, What's on the Bench series, which is really just turned into the Enterprise E series here, you'll see that I did a bunch of sanding and grinding on those parts before attaching them to the secondary hull, just because I know how they fit or how they don't fit well. So I did a bunch of work to make that work out better ahead of time. All right, so just adjusting myself here. I'm trying to think if there was any other fit issues. I think those were the only major fit issues on this kit. I am going to make a slight adjustment here. That's the wrong way. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit there. Give me a little bit more freedom of range here. I mean, on the Enterprise E, there are just other challenges that come along with it, but that's the nature of pretty much any kit. All right, let's get some of this stuff tucked away in a manner that will keep it all under control. So when I'm tidying up these wires, my top priority is to avoid blocking any window sections. So I try to be as strategic as possible in running these so that they avoid any windows. Okay, and this is just going to be tedious, meticulous work. I will try to show as much of it on camera here as I can. What I'm going to do is bunch all this together here. I'm going to grab, let's see, a bit of a longer piece of tape and tape this down like so. And then I will put some epoxy there to hold it on both sides of the tape to hold that in place. All right, and then I want this stuff here to come as close in here as I possibly can. I want to avoid blocking any windows. So I'm going to get what I can bunched together here. Put a piece of tape down. like this. I don't know how much of this you're actually going to be able to see. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. And then these are some of these are fairly short sections here, but I can take this, tuck it, well, if it wants to cooperate, I will tuck these together. Those will have to go over there. Tape them down. This is not going to be a perfectly clean wire run, but want to keep them under control and out of the way, and secured it down so they don't come loose inside the model. Never want loose wires inside the model, because then they can cause problems getting in the way of other things. Okay, so those are secured down. I'm going to flip this around and see what I can do about the other side. Let's see here. Yavang, I checked out the conference room and bridge inserts for the 650 scale that you recommended from Shapeways. Thanks for the recommendation. Going to be difficult to paint detail at that size. Yes, I just got mine ordered yesterday. I meant to do it earlier, but I just got them ordered. And so I've ordered 2 sets because I'm doing the 2 kits. And it's not something that the clients necessarily know yet that I'm planning to include, but I guess one of them probably will now. But we'll see just how much of the bridge and conference room we're going to be able to see through those windows. You see, the problem is that we haven't done this. Nobody's done this on YouTube yet. So there's no default build log to go to. I mean, if you're building the Don Shoko D, you can go and see all of Lou's builds, but there's nowhere. Well, you can see the full thing of Lou's builds, because my build on that is incomplete. But there's nobody to go and emulate on this one, so we are figuring this kit out from the ground up, because Helios hasn't published anything about how they built it. Which, interestingly, there are no instructions with the kit. So there's no recommended build order. I'm hoping that they're going to send some instructions along with the armature piece when the metal armature piece comes in, because some direction as to how they intend that to work would be beneficial. However, any of you building it out there will have the benefit of being able to watch me do it first. And if I need to, I will contact Helios and ask them how they did it or how they intend it to be done. Whereas some other people may not do that, so we'll see. All right, Blair. Okay, so getting back into modeling after 25 years, thanks to you. I'm starting with Voyager. Is there a go-to lighting kit, Aztec, you would recommend? I'm going to start small. Which Voyager kit are you doing? That would be my first question. Are you doing the Polar Lights 1000 scale, or are you doing the Revell Monogram 677 scale? And either way, on Voyager, there's not really Aztecs to do. It's really a rather plain looking hull. I've seen people do shading and stuff like that, which looks kind of nice. There are some good studio images of the studio model, and if you go back to that, it's fairly plain. There's not like the typical Aztec patterns to do, which makes it a good get back into the hobby build. Let me just get some of this secured down here. Secure this down. As secure as these little tiny pieces of tape will do, of course. When it comes to the hot melt glue, it would do it really quickly, but it causes just a mess of strings. Polar lights. Okay, the... Are you doing the... And this is more for my curiosity, really. Are you doing the clear kit? Or the not clear kit? The only difference between the boxes is that they put a sticker on the box saying special clear edition. And the clear, just so that you know, the clear one, okay. The clear, just so that you're aware, is not clear. It is milky white if you haven't already opened up the box. It is translucent. It is not clear. They probably really need to make that a little bit more clear on the box. All right. Yvang said, I guess you will also have to light those inserts, right? Yeah, so they're not, so the consoles are going to be way too small to light with any sort of detail, so that will not be happening just because they're far too small. But they will have light inside so that you can see what's going on. So probably they'll probably have some 0402 SMD white lights at the top where you can't see them on the underside of the kit. Sealing for those parts. So they will give light inside those parts so that you can see what's going on in there. They just won't, none of the consoles or anything like that will be able to light up just because it's far too small to be able to do that. And the parts are not molded or are not printed in clear. All right. Okay, so these are all temporarily tacked down. It's starting to look a lot better already. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off, I'm going to go to here, I'm going to turn off my logo, and I am going to record a segment for the video that I'm working on. So you get to see me recording this live. All right, here we go. Oops. Let me just make sure that I am recording this in the proper location. Let me make sure that the location exists. And actually, while I'm doing that, this will be far better for you to look at. I don't know, you're looking at me, so maybe not. But, where is this wanting to save to? Let me make sure that is saving where it needs to go. Okay, looks good. All right. Okay. All right, we are recording. So here, oh, let me change it up here. Okay. So I said that this would look a lot nicer the next time you see it, and it does look a lot nicer. What's going on right now is that these blue pieces of tape are holding down the wires. I'm going to go through now and put in little bits of epoxy. You can see how there are already other little bits of epoxy that are holding wiring in place. So the blue tape just holds everything in place long enough for me to get that epoxy on. So I'm going to do that right now, get it on. I'm going to put this one aside and start working on the same process on the second one. And there we go. Clip recorded. Yeah, and I can see it's already in the folder. So we are all good. All right, Captain Shalomang, my only issue with the clear kits are that the parts can be a little too fragile for my taste. Yeah, so if you're using the water clear kits, like the Enterprise D, the last releases of it, the ones that are like see-through clear, that plastic is really brittle. That's one of the main reasons why they've gone to that white translucent styrene. So it's styrene, so it's as pliable as the rest of the kits are. They just don't include any dye in it. So it's just literally the naked plastic without any dyes in it. And that's how they're getting the translucent plastic there. So it's actually even a less of a process to do it because they just simply don't add any coloring to the plastic. So that's what's going on with that. It's a lot easier to deal with. If I make Enterprise D kits with the new white translucent plastic, I would be very tempted to still go through the process to, oh, I'm sorry, you can't see me. The overlay's been turned off. There we go. I would still be tempted to drill out and clean out all of the windows. There's just a lot of issues that get solved if you do that versus masking off or scraping off on the clear kit. And I like all of the windows to be uniform in look when the lights are off on the model because that's the way the model will sit most of the time. So when I drill out windows on a kit, I drill out all of the windows and then I block them from the inside for any that I want off, and I fill them all with the exact same clear material. So when the lights are off on the model, which, let's be honest, that's going to be 99% of the time, all the windows look the same. And then when you turn on the lights, that's when you get the differentiation between the windows with lights on and the windows with lights off. If you paint the windows that are off, so if you don't clean them out and just paint them, right off the bat, they always look different. So I like doing it that way, and I would be really tempted just to continue cleaning out those windows on the translucent styrene kit that they're bringing out. And yes, I will probably pick up several of them when they come out, just because I want to be able to make sure I have them in stock. Let's see. Yeah, I think the newer kits are made in a less fragile or less brittle plastic. Yes, they are. Blair says it's overwhelming to get back into, but crazy the tech in LED and lighting kits you can get. The Polar Voyager clear looks like very good quality. Yeah, I haven't opened it up. I haven't opened up either of them. They're still in the plastic, so I haven't actually had my hands on the parts. Anything I've seen online is that they're pretty good. I have seen a couple people have short shots on their parts, so that's where you would want to go back to round 2 and get them to issue you or send out to you replacement parts. All right, let's get some epoxy down on these wires so that we can get this kit put aside and start working on the other one. We grab the epoxy. I just had it and my toothpicks. Oh, I forgot to put my other overlay on as well. All right. Something I would like to do at some point is figure out how to motorize the pylons on Voyager. So if I ever get a chance to do Voyager, which I mean, I will, it's just a matter of when. It'll be later in life if I don't get a commission build for it, or sooner if I do get a commission build for it. But I would love to see if there was a way to motorize those pylons so that you can make the warp engines go up or down at the flick of a switch. Captain Shalmang, is there anything that you are looking forward to seeing at Wonderfest? People. I am looking forward to meeting people that I have only ever talked to online, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most. There's just lots of people that I've connected with through the Facebook groups, through my YouTube channel, that I'm looking forward to meeting some of those people there. For example, Wayne from Motion Picture Miniatures, who makes those really cool aftermarket parts, who's also the guy I'm working with to make the Aztec masking set for the 650 scale Enterprise D. He's going to be coming over from England for Wonderfest, so I'm looking forward to getting together with him and having some chats about the Enterprise D, and about what he does, and just find out a little bit more about him. So that's going to be cool. I mean, there's lots of people that I'm hopefully going to be meeting while I'm there. And I have booked a table. So I should be able to meet as many people as possible, because if they are in room A, in the dealer room, they will walk right by my table. So it's a great way to promote the channel and of course build my subscriber base and all that kind of stuff, but a great way to be able to connect with people and meet people that I've only ever met online. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most at Wonderfest. I just need to wipe some of this off. Yevang, have you ever made an Enterprise D model where the saucer separates? If so, did you use lighting? The 1000 scale kit does not have an option for separating. The 650 scale kit does not have an option for separating. And that leaves the 1400 scale kit. And I haven't done a 1400 scale kit of the D since I was much, much younger. That one did separate, but it also was not lighted. It was also not well painted. So, because I was probably early high school when I did my last 1400 scale Enterprise D. So, yeah, not much really to talk about there. I did not make up enough epoxy resin there. I'm going to have to do another batch. Let's just say I would not want to publicize the work on models I did back then. Although I had a couple that were actually really well done. I did a bird of prey, like the larger bird of prey, when I was younger. Painted it all by hand, by brush, but it actually turned out really, really well, considering that I was in high school, like early high school, when I did it, and I did it all by hand brush because I didn't know anything about airbrushing at the time. And I wasn't quite the same perfectionist back then as I am now, with the same eye for detail and all that kind of stuff. So definitely not lighted. Definitely not of the quality that I would expect of myself now. Let's see. I don't know. It's a great snapshot of time in your life, and it shows how far you've come with model making. Yeah, I suppose. I'm not sure that they're fully in one piece anymore. Captain Charlemagne, I've seen some kits people have done on Facebook who had done the D separated, and it looks nice for only being painted, but I would think it'd be difficult to light it if you were doing the D separated. You would have to, in order to do it separated, you would have to have a separate control board for the saucer. It would have to be battery powered. and you would have to mount that control board in the saucer. And I have an aversion, I have a personal kind of aversion to putting any control boards in the ship. I will if I have to, but at the moment you put the control board inside the ship and lock it in there, you're opening yourself up to a world of trouble if anything ever goes wrong with that controller. And I mean, they're made very well today. Like if you get a Tenna Controls board, they're quite reliable. And they obviously, did I put some epoxy on there? Yeah, I did. Okay. Sorry, just talking to myself, making sure I haven't missed anything. I mean, very reliable. There's warranties on them, etc., etc., etc. But once you lock it inside the kit, that's it. If anything goes wrong, you have a world of trouble dealing with it. That's like my last Enterprise E-client. I've told the story. He misplaced the 9-volt power supply that I provided with the kit, and looked up what, because at that time I was still using the Tenna Controls. I hadn't moved over to using the Arduinos yet. And he looked up what the Tenna Controls board could take for power and saw that it could take 12 volts, and so thought that it would be okay to substitute the 9-volt power supply that I had provided, and of course had set up the model for, replace it with a 12-volt, and then proceeded to let the kit run for, let the model run for in excess of 6 hours at a time, and did not end well. So he ended up cracking it open, and that model just will never be the same again. So the moment you have to crack them open, they're just not ever going to be the same. Okay, so I've got a bunch of epoxy down on this, and I fully expect to need to put some more once it's cured and everything like that. This one's going to sit for a few hours to let all of that fully cure, and I'll go and I'll see, what's loose, what needs more epoxy, and secure that down. Once that's done, this section is pretty much ready for final assembly. I will have to do work on the top saucers though. Let me set this one aside, and I will grab the other bottom saucer and secondary hull. Now, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be streaming tonight. It's been a long day for us and our family, so I probably won't be going too long. Let's see. What was the very first Star Trek model you ever did, and do you still have it? The first Star Trek model I ever did was the 1400 scale Enterprise D. And I ended up doing 2 of them when I was younger. So the first one I did was really, really, really bad as far as the paint and stuff like that. And when I was a little bit older, I thought, you know what? I'm going to repaint all this. However, I didn't have access to replacement decals or anything like that. And so I tried painting around them and stuff like that. It really didn't look good. So I bought a second kit, did a much better job on it this second time around when I was a bit older. But like I did a ton of kits when I was younger. My bedroom was filled with Star Trek models. Yeah, I did pretty much any Star Trek kit I could get my hands on. Original series, Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, because they were all out when I was, Voyager came out when I was in high school. I was still in elementary school, I think, when DS9 came out. I can't remember exactly the years. But, yeah, it was basically any kit I could get my hands on. I'd ask for them for Christmas, birthdays, and I would do it on... Our family had we had a rec room in our house in the basement, and the TV was down there, and so I would put on VHS Next Generation or the original series or whatever I had, that I had taped off TV, and I would put it on the TV, and I'd be down on the floor with newspaper and stuff like that, and I'd be building and painting the models. And that was those were my summer breaks. Yeah, my room was full. Quality back then, who cares? It was epic fun. Yeah. I had a friend who was also into Star Trek, and so also into building Star Trek models. And so we... What light is that? What is this? Okay, that is... That is quantum torpedo launcher. Good to know. Okay. Yeah, so we would get together, and there was a few times where we would work on my models at my house, and we would work on his models at his house. And so that was lots of fun. All right. Let me pull up the tape that I've got down on this one, and then figure out what we're going to do with the wires on this one. I would like to get these closed up as soon as I can, because I would like to get onto the painting and get these out to the clients, because they've been very patient on this, knowing that these were projects I was working on in between the other stuff that was on the bench. So I was kind of squeezing these in, really between while working on the big Enterprise D. So yeah, I'd like to get these out to them as soon as I can. Let's see, Captain Sean Mang, first I ever did was a Voyager. Yeah, that didn't turn out well, but was still fun to do. Yeah. You know, I think if kids today got model kits for Christmas and some paints and some glue, and were just let to do as they wish to do with them, we'd have a lot more model builders today. So, all right. Okay, these two here, I'm going to just kind of get this in here, pinch, and that's not going to work. I will probably need to just redirect them from here. I'm going to try to squeeze these under here. And pull them this way. I kind of need like a little hook or something. Let's see if I can just kind of like gently feed them through here. And then voila. There is so much going on here wire-wise. Okay, I apologize you're not going to be able to see much here because my fingers are in the way, but it has to be done. Okay. Tape down. That was an easy way to get those ones kind of secured in place. Okay, all these are labeled. This one is not labeled. That's fine. It's going to be very easy to figure out where these are going, because that's going to constant on. And that's going constant on up here. So this is nav on negative. Ooh, we've got 11 people watching right now. If you haven't let me know that you're here, leave a comment down in the comment section. It's just hello or something so that I know that you're here. It's kind of nice to know who's hanging out. Okay. Get this, actually before I label it, I want to run it underneath through to the neck, because it's a lot easier to run this wire through before I put a label on it. Okay, so let's feed it under there, back up here, doing some of this. Feels like doing surgery half the time. Although I don't know what doing surgery would feel like because I'm not a doctor. I'm a model builder, not a doctor. There we go. All right. And what did I say? That is constant on. So that is nav on negative. Nav on negative. There we go. That is labeled. All right. Is this one labeled? This one is not labeled, and that's going to be nav on positive. That one was really easy to track down too. Let's see. Yavang, the Defiant was my first. I'm thinking about Scotty when he was talking about the Enterprise being his first love. Yeah. Blair, Captain Shulman, yeah, I just remember how fun it was creating those awesome models. I used to experiment with battle damage, i.e. flame and solder simulated damage. Oh, yeah. Cool. All right. I've got the tape ready for labeling it. Let's see if I can feed it under this mess of, well, is it above that one? Okay, yep. Sorry, talking to myself, giving myself direction here. Run it under all that mess and up over here. Here we go. Here we go. Prevent it from kinking and breaking the wire. That would be a shame to have to redo that wiring. And we were successful. There we go. I noticed that for Wonderfest, they have the names up for those who are in the dealer room, like for the companies and stuff like that. Unfortunately, they have my personal name on there instead of Canadian Starships, so I'm trying to get them to change that because people will know Canadian Starships much better. Smacks999, hey Andrew, didn't know you were on live. I've done 3 of these babies. Greetings from Newfoundland. Jim Smegetta. Welcome to the stream, Jim. 3 of the Enterprise E's. This will be, yeah, I've kind of lost track of how many of these I've been working on. Let's see, nav on plus. There we go. Captain Shalomang, wonder if they're going to introduce any new. Wonder if they're going to introduce any new kits. If you're talking about round 2, who knows? I know that they've got some things that they are working towards, but have absolutely no idea how long those are going to take, or if they're actually going to be successful in getting those projects green-lighted for actual production. Smacks999, yes. Curious question then for you, if you've done 3 of them. When it comes to the Aztecs, what do you do? Do you go to decals, or do you paint your Aztecs? Curious what the answer is going to be. Kind of curious what most people are doing now, because before I did my last one, not very many people were painting the Aztec patterns on. Since I did it, showed it could be done, more people have taken the plunge and done paint, which I'm always really happy to see people painting their Enterprise E's, because I think it looks just so much better when they're painted. Perhaps I am biased that way, though. Oh, starting to get that out of frame a little bit. Okay. Let's get this secured down. Get some tape in here. I use Mask Design, yeah. How did the Mask Design masks work out for you? I have 2 sets here to test and review on these 2 kits once I get the get all this wire management done and get the final assembly done. Because I'm going to review the masking sets on the channel. But interesting, the Mask Design kit was inspired by me painting my last Enterprise E. So it's kind of cool to be able to see that there's an actual masking set out there now, because I had to hand mask everything last time. And let me, just for curiosity's sake, let me see if I can find those pictures of that masking process. Let's see where along the process. So this is going to be a little bit later on, a little bit of a later update. A little bit later again, I think. Let's try the next update. There's some specific pictures I'm looking for. Okay, I think this'll do. This'll do. All right, let's get this picture up here. All right, so this is how I did it last time. There we go. So tons of blue painter's tape. This stuff cut into very, very, very thin strands using a very sharp number 11 blade and a metal straight edge, and then chop that up into the tiniest little bits. Well, really narrow strips for all of the pinstriping, and then little tiny bits to create all of the Aztecs, and that's how this one was done. So needless to say, I'm excited that there is a masking set out for it now, because I'm thinking that's going to save so much time. Let's see. Oh, Jim, please. Okay. Love him, although I wish he printed a few copies of some more fragile patterns. I remember your pre-masking, you were nuts. So that's probably what you're seeing here that you're referring to. Oren Edland, do you design and make your own lighting modules? No. I design all my circuits and stuff like that. Designing is a bit of a generous term there. I wire everything up, I connect it, I figure out what all of the circuits I'm going to need and everything like that. And then I have Danny, the programmer from the Netherlands, who does the actual sketches for the Arduinos for me. And he does a far better job on that than I would ever think of being able to do, learning it on my own. And saves me a lot of time trying to, and probably frustration, trying to learn all that stuff on my own. And there's some stuff that he does that allows for multitasking on the Arduino, where it is a single chip and it can't really multitask without multiple cores. And so there's a timing trick that he does so that the single Arduino will do multiple effects. That's the best way I understand it and can explain it. He knows it far better than, he could explain it far better than I can, but he knows how to do that. And I'm really happy that I've got somebody that knows what they're doing, programming all of that. Captain Shalmang, I personally use decals, but do you got some Aztec for dummies for my NX-01? Okay, yeah, you've got some Aztec decals from Aztec Dummy for your Nexo 1. Cool. Jim, you might have seen mine on Starship Modeler Facebook. Possibly, quite possibly. I'd have to... Millis no delays? Sorry, I'm not sure what that means. But yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to get back to doing a little bit of this wire management. So I'm going to tape these down. I probably should have made these little pieces of tape just a little bit longer. Jim says, Arduino delays stop everything, so no multitasking. Yeah, so it's not multitasking. There's some magic he does that allows one Arduino to run the multiple effects at the same time. So, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't understand it all. I'm just really glad I've got somebody on my side who does. And I don't know, it's like Romulan cloaking technology to Kirk's Enterprise crew. Like, just, it's like magic. I don't know. But he knows how to do it. He knows what he's doing. That's his background, and he does a good job. So, really glad to have that. And your next question is going to be, does he make it available to people? And the short answer is, I think he might down the road, but I don't think he's quite there yet. So you'll have to stay tuned on that front, because I don't know for sure what his intentions are there. But anytime that you have somebody do that kind of work for you, just understand that there is a cost associated with it because their time is valuable. So you can either just be prepared that if you get somebody to do that kind of work for you, you either need to pay them financially, or barter, or services in kind, or some combination of that, because everybody is worth their time and energy and should not be taken advantage of. So like Danny and I have a arrangement in place for compensation. I'm not going to go into details about that, but you do need to make sure that you look after those people who are doing that work for you. Just like if you commission somebody to build a model project for you, you have to understand that there is a significant cost involved in having that commission work done. Because these things take a long time to do properly. There are a lot of guys... Ooh! I think I've got that all taped down. There's a lot of guys out there that do cheap work, but it's also cheap work. So you can understand that good work takes a lot of time, and it's not inexpensive. Same with any of the guys doing contract work for you. Let's see. Jim, nice. I'm at this minute. I am working on a 1000 Voyager and doing the phaser strip thing. Yeah. Like I said, I'm glad that Danny's looking after that, because I wouldn't even know where to start with it myself. Blair, can you tell us more about Wonderfest? Worth the travel? So, I think so, but I've never been. Of course, I don't do anything half in. I'm either all in or not in at all. Oh, let me see. Yeah, so Jim, so phaser strip thing. here's a look at what the phaser strips on these things look like with Danny's programming. This was just some test footage I did just to make sure that everything was working properly. But yeah, having effects like that is really cool. But yeah, Blair, I have not been yet. This will be my first time. I am jumping in all in with getting a table, mostly because I want to, well, obviously promote my channel and see some growth there. And, you know, hopefully I'll get some new subscribers out of the deal, but also meet people. But I mean, I know that there's things you can get there at Wonderfest in the dealer's room that you just can't necessarily get anywhere else. So everybody who's been has said that it's great. So I mean, that's all I have to go on it. But I can definitely tell you more after I've been. And I'm going to be producing a ton of content. Hopefully while I'm there, I'm taking somebody with me to help me with filming and editing while I'm there. So hopefully I'll be able to let you know directly from Wonderfest how things are going and what I think. Hopefully I'll be able to have some interviews and stuff like that too. We'll have to see. Captain Shellman, hope you guys have a nice night. Got to go, as Spock would say. Stay safe and prosper. Have a good night. Thank you for joining. You commented on mine. I appreciate that. Ah, did you showed your effect? It's hard to keep track of who you've actually talked to in the Facebook groups and stuff like that. Names for me don't stick, which for my line of work can be a bit of a problem sometimes. I have to deliberately use names several times before they stick. So I will recognize people's work before I will recognize people's names. So if I saw a picture of what you'd done, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's kind of just how my brain works. I also really remember numbers. Like, I remember numbers so easily. I remember my parents' bank account number just because they would say it periodically and it just stuck in my brain. I remember phone numbers. I worked at a grocery store when I was in high school and while I was in university. And I worked front end, which meant I did cash. And I actually started out as a packer, we called them front end service clerks, but essentially a packer. Pack groceries, collect carts, that kind of thing. And for me, that was kind of boring work. And I would pay attention to all kinds of stuff that I wasn't necessarily supposed to. And I'd be paying attention to what cashiers were punching into the computers as they were processing orders. And I learned a lot of the produce codes long before I ever became a cashier. They didn't have a lot of guys who were cashiers, but they started to realize that if they cross-trained the packers on cash, then when it got busy, they'd have extra cashiers available to throw on. And so they started training a bunch of us on cash. And so by the time I ever got to training as a cashier, I had most of the product codes for produce and stuff like that already memorized. It's just the way my brain works. I memorize numbers super easily. And I never forget them. I was actually in college, well, in university, and we had a food program, like a meal program. That's it, with our cafeteria. And I went to the cafeteria one night for dinner, and they had Brussels sprouts, and so I wanted Brussels sprouts, and for the life of me, I could not remember the name Brussels sprouts. All I could remember in that moment was the produce code. And I had to say to them, I want those. I want those. They're 4550s. I can't remember what they're called, but their code, their produce code is 4550. And it just took a while for Brussels sprout to come back into my brain. But yeah, numbers are super easy, and patterns, and a lot of the codes I memorized via pattern as well. But names, I really struggle with names. So when I'm at Wonderfest, and I'm meeting people, I may use their name several times when speaking to them. And that's just so that I don't immediately, in 2 seconds flat, forget what their name is. And that's kind of just what I have to do in order for names to stick. I have to use them several times. And it's not because I don't want to remember it. It's because it's just the way my brain works. If people's names were numbers, I would probably remember them super easily, like 7 of 9. Oren, have you tried the UV resin? Watched another famous Star Trek modeler, forget his name, but he used it for holding down wires, doming windows, cures in seconds. I bought some off Amazon. Cool stuff. Yeah. So, funny story. I've got, well, I will talk while I go get this, because I've just finished the epoxy on this, and this is going to have to sit now. So both are going to have to fully cure before I can move on to doing anything else with them. So I will do a little bit of show and tell here for a moment. One moment, you can still hear me, you just can't see me, and that is okay. And hopefully you'll be able to see all of this at once on the table if the camera angle, yeah, you can see everything. Okay, so don't mind this side of the 650 scale Enterprise D. Here's the 1400 scale Enterprise D saucer for some sizing reference. Yes, this is big. So all of these windows are, so this kit is printed. It's not cast, it is printed, which means that all of these windows are open by default. And so what I'm going to be doing on this kit is I'm going to be doing my light block coats on the inside. And then I'm going to be filling all the windows with clear. And then I'm going to be masking all the windows. Now, I don't know if Wayne, when he produces the masking set for this, is going to include window masks or not. But I have the ability to make my own window masks. So I will just cut my own window masks. So light block the inside. So this is the plan. Light block the inside, fill the windows, mask the windows, do the outside stuff after assembly. And there's, I can't remember how many windows there are on this ship. There's a lot. And so if I used standard clear resin to do this, it would take forever, because you can't just go through and do it all in one batch, because you really need it to sit flat, and so that the resin doesn't go all over the place. So I would have to take literally a month to fill the windows on this thing if I was using my standard slow curing resin. But the best UV resin to use is Solarez. And there are other options, but I am not risking using an unknown product on these kits. When I use a product on this, I want to make sure that it is for sure going to work and be the quality that I want it to work. I'm not going to experiment with new products, but I cannot get Solarez in Canada. I cannot get it. So we are going on holiday to Florida in a while. My in-laws have a place in Florida, and so they've ordered SolarRes to their Florida location off Amazon for me. So I'm going to be able to get it when I'm there and bring it back. So that is my solution on that. I've got a lot of work that I have to do on it before I get to the windows, so it shouldn't be a problem to get that work done before I have to start filling the windows. The other thing I'm going to be doing is opening up the phaser ring here. There are holes drilled out that are the right size for 5mm LEDs, and that's the intended way that you would do a phaser effect on this kit. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 2, 4, 6, 37, 74. So 74 plus 1 in the center, so 75 LEDs in this ring on the top saucer. That's what's intended. I don't think that that's high enough definition because there's these gaps in between. And so if you don't have super high definition phaser effect, it looks like the original series cartoon version where it's very choppy movement. And you can tell that there's the gaps in individual LEDs. So 75 LEDs intended to go in this. Now this here on the Enterprise E, that's also 75 LEDs. That is 75 2020 LEDs. So that's a LED strip made of 2020 sized, so 2mm by 2mm sized LEDs, and they are very tightly packed. And you can actually see that in here, the black ring, that is the underside of the LED strip, and that's 75 LEDs. So a huge difference going on there. Let's see. Sorry, I just have to make an adjustment to my chat here because I thought it was stopped. I'm just going to check something here because there hasn't been anything. Can somebody just leave even like a okay or something just in the chat for me so I know that my chat is working properly? I'm just going to check this out in another location. Okay, all right. Thank you. That answers my question. Yeah, chat is working. Okay, sorry, I just thought that there was a glitch on my end. So this is 75 LEDs in this small section because they're so tightly packed and so small, and that gives you that really nice high definition phaser effect there. Now, this is a big, huge ship. Big, huge, beautiful ship. And I don't know that the 2020 LEDs are really going to be necessary on this size of a ship. I might pack it with the standard 50/50 LEDs, but the ones that are like super high density packed together, and put them facing in so that they are even more tightly packed, and that should give a really nice high definition look. I'm going to try it with those first. If it doesn't give me the effect I want, then I will upgrade to the 2020s. It's just a lot more LEDs going in there, but I want the best possible effect. But that means that I have to make modifications on this kit because they've only provided for 5mm LEDs to go in here. So what I'm going to be doing is completely opening up the phaser array and replacing the resin in here with clear resin that I pour in. Now that will probably be standard pouring in standard cure resin, just because it would be really expensive to do the SolarRes on that, especially since I can't get a hold of it here in Canada. It's not easily available, so I'll be treating that stuff as gold when I get it. but that will be done with regular resin. But I have to do small sections of it at a time, because if I just go through here and clean out this entire ring at once, it's going to jeopardize the structural integrity of the part, and I don't want to do that. So I will probably take quarters of this thing, and so I'll probably do this quarter here, and then this quarter here, clean those out, leaving these two sections in place, replace it with clear resin, let that fully cure, and then go back in and clean out the other two quarters, fill those with the clear resin, and let them fully cure. That way I will then install the LED strip underneath on its side and box that in, and that'll give a really good phaser fire effect there. So that's the plan on here, but I will be using the solar resin on this. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that that was on there. So my apologies. I will go over that one more time, just with the kit here. So the phaser strip here, so that's 75 holes going around. So I will clear out a quarter at a time. So I'll start with this quarter, say, and then this quarter, clear them out, leaving these two quarters in place so that the parts have structural integrity. Pour in the back pour the clear resin into these sections, and then once those are fully cured, then I will go to clearing out this part, this quarter, and this quarter of the phaser. Pour that with the clear resin, let that fully secure, and then I'll have fully clear sections on the phasers, and then from the bottom I will install the LEDs, and that gives you that really nice phaser effect. There we go. That's it on the inside. You can see all 75 of those spots here. There's no markings or anything other than just the holes that show you where that phaser is. So what I did was I took the phaser array part. It's all one piece, a clear printed, I would imagine, or cast. I'm not really sure which way it is. And I placed it on, taped it on, and then outlined exactly where that goes. I had to do that for the masking process on here, for fitting the masks properly. They're not quite fit yet. The front section is really good. There's some adjustments that have to be made the further around the back we get. Wayne's been super busy with getting some commission work out, but he's told me that he's going to be getting back to working on this shortly. So yeah, this is going to be on the go very, very, very soon. I'm going to get an update out on the Enterprise E's as I get the saucers put together, and then I'm going to be doing updates on this as well, and updates on the 1400 scale as well. So that's what's going on with that. All right. It is 5 minutes after 11. I've got a busy day tomorrow, and I've had a busy day today. So I am going to... Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Here we go. I'm going to end the stream there. I got the work done on those that I had to do. I'm hoping that I will get the... I'll just move back here. I'm hoping that I will get the wiring secured down onto the top saucers tomorrow, and then I should be able to get those saucer halves put together, and then I will be working on connecting all the wiring down to the post, get the neck piece on, and then start the process of filler! Yay! I'm just really, really looking forward to getting to the paint on these. Painting these things is probably my favorite stage, but I surprisingly, I do also enjoy cleaning out the windows on these things. It's oddly relaxing. So that's where everything is at. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here, hanging out with me on the stream. And I will either be putting out a video update, and if not, I will see you next week, same time, same place for the live stream. So have a great evening, everyone.